You might have always thought that financial freedom is something you can only achieve if you have more money, that if you had just a little more, you could live the life you've always dreamed of. But what if I told you that this belief, that money is the key, is actually holding you back? What if the true key to financial freedom isn't about earning more money, but about changing the way you think about money itself? It's easy to get caught in the mindset that money is the barrier between where you are and where you want to be. Maybe you've thought, if only I had more money, I could finally reach my goals. But take a moment to pause and reflect. What if instead of seeing money as something that limits you, you started to see it as something you can control, an instrument to create the life you desire, not something that restricts you? This shift in perspective can make all the difference. It's not about accumulating more money. It's about understanding how your mindset around money influences your life. When you're stuck in the cycle of stress, worry, or desperation about money, it feels almost impossible to imagine abundance. But what if the real answer is not to focus on having more, but to feel more abundant with what you already have? In this moment, it's important to understand that financial freedom doesn't just come from a bigger paycheck. It comes from changing the way you think about money. Money is not the barrier. Your relationship with money is what holds you back. And that relationship begins with one simple but powerful step: awareness. When was the last time you truly noticed how you feel about money? What emotions rise up when you look at your bank account, pay a bill, or think about your financial future? Do you feel anxious, tight, or fearful? Or do you feel relaxed, open, and confident about what's to come? The first step in transforming your financial life is to simply observe your feelings around money. How do you react when it comes into your life? And how do you feel when it goes out? Are you comfortable with it, or does it stress you out? By taking the time to develop awareness, you can begin to shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance. This is the foundation of real change. Understanding how your nervous system responds to money and reflecting on how you were taught to view it. This is your chance to rewrite the story of money in your life, to see it as a tool to help you create a life full of possibilities. As we continue, let's dive deeper into how your personal money story has shaped your relationship with wealth and how you can start to shift it today. For many, understanding money doesn't come easily. Growing up, many people aren't surrounded by wealth. While they may not be completely poor, they often don't have the same luxuries as their peers. As a result, there can be a sense of falling behind, seeing others with things like rollerblades, Nintendo consoles, or the latest trends, while they themselves feel content with simpler things. Their family might have a home, they might be going to school, but there's often a lingering feeling that they aren't quite enough, that they aren't as rich as others. And this feeling, this belief, begins to shape their money story and personality. This can lead to insecurity. When money does come into their lives, it might bring a rush of excitement, but there's often a sense of confusion about what to do with it. They might hold on to it out of fear, insecurity, or uncertainty about how to manage it. This feeling of discomfort with money can follow them into their teenage years, and even when opportunities arise to learn more about money management, they may not be interested. They just want to enjoy their current stage of life without worrying about finances. As time passes, especially during significant life events, many people find themselves in difficult situations perhaps pursuing a dream, only to face setbacks, or ending up in a place of uncertainty with no clear direction for making money. The world around them might seem to be falling apart, with economic struggles, inflation, and worries about the future intensifying. It's at moments like these that the realization hits something needs to change. They need guidance, mentors, people who understand how to manage money, how to receive it, how to spend it wisely, and how to transform their relationship with it. But the journey to understanding money doesn't stop there. It requires awareness, an acknowledgement of the relationship you've had with money up until now. Your money story is deeply intertwined with your personal history, the messages you received about money growing up, and the lessons you learned, whether intentional or not. Consider the environment you were raised in. Did your parents fight about money? Were you ever exposed to those discussions about how expensive things were or how difficult it was to make ends meet? Did money become a source of tension, fear, or stress within the family? These early experiences shape the way you think and feel about money today. And often, these beliefs can be carried into adulthood without ever being questioned or challenged. Many people carry these unresolved emotions, money wounds, that affect their financial decisions. Perhaps there were moments when money seemed out of reach, or maybe there were feelings of scarcity that permeated your household. It's essential to reflect on these early experiences and understand how they've influenced your current financial mindset. This reflection is the first step toward healing your money wounds. It allows you to reframe your relationship with money, to see it not as a source of stress or scarcity, but as a tool, a means to an end. A tool that, when used with intention, can help you build the life you want. Awareness is key. How do you feel when you look at your bank account? Do you feel calm or anxious? Do you feel empowered or constrained by the numbers? These feelings are deeply connected to your money story, and they can reveal a lot about your current relationship with money. Once you develop this awareness, you can start to rewrite your money story. You can begin to heal these wounds and shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. You'll discover that money is not something to be feared or hoarded, but something to be understood, embraced, and used to create opportunities, not just for yourself, but for others as well. Many people today are carrying a heavy burden of debt, student loans, credit cards, and unexpected medical expenses. It's a constant struggle to figure out how to break free from that weight, all while still trying to live a life full of joy and freedom. Dreams of traveling, going on trips with friends, enjoying expensive concerts, and having fun without feeling financially restricted feel out of reach. Instead, debt seems to pull them back, no matter how hard they try to move forward. The rising costs of living, inflation, and the pressures of everyday life can make it feel like breaking free is impossible. People may feel like they can't afford a home, or that everything just keeps getting more expensive. The constant struggle with money becomes overwhelming, and all this emotional baggage, this weight, makes it hard to feel free. The desire to feel free is there, but the emotional burden of financial worries makes it feel impossible to experience that freedom. What if there was a way to feel emotionally free from this weight? What if, instead of constantly feeling tight and anxious about money, you could allow it to flow more easily into your life? And when it left, you wouldn't feel bad about it. The more relaxed you become about your finances, the more you can receive, and the more freely you can spend. But if you're too afraid to even look at your bank account or always feel nervous about what's in there, how can you ever be open to receiving more or spending with confidence? For many, there's a sense of insecurity surrounding money. People may have learned how to make money, but they never learned how to manage it or spend it wisely. They might hoard money out of fear, afraid of being broke again, afraid of going back to a place where they didn't feel secure. Even if they've built up a decent amount of savings, they still feel emotionally trapped, unable to fully enjoy life or spend freely. The fear of losing money becomes a prison in itself, preventing people from living with true freedom. There are countless stories of people who have struggled with money for years, feeling like they've reached a point where they should be financially free, but still feel trapped. This is often linked to their money story, how they grew up viewing money, how they saw their parents interact with money, and how those early experiences shaped their financial mindset. If people don't address these money wounds and reflect on their money story, they'll continue to be trapped by these beliefs, preventing them from achieving true financial freedom. It's common for people to grow up in households where money was a source of tension and stress. Many may have heard their parents argue about finances, or felt the anxiety of not having enough to go around. These early experiences shape how people view money throughout their lives. If money was always a source of worry or fear, then that's how it will be seen later in life, something to be hoarded, feared, and controlled. But once people take the time to reflect on their money story, they begin to realize that they can shift their perspective. They can start to heal their emotional wounds surrounding money and begin to change how they interact with it. The first step is awareness, understanding the relationship they have with money and how it affects their emotions and actions. Once they recognize the patterns and beliefs that have been holding them back, they can begin to rewrite their financial story. In order to break free from the emotional baggage of money, people need to start viewing it as a tool, something that can be used to create a life of abundance, not something that traps them in fear. They need to release the anxiety that comes with managing money, and instead, embrace it as a means to live a fulfilling, secure life. The more relaxed and open people are about their finances, the more they can invite financial freedom into their lives. For many people, making money feels like an impossible task. Whether it's delivering newspapers as a teenager, working long hours at a retail job, or simply trying to keep up with the daily bills, money often feels like a constant struggle. The story that gets shaped early on is one of scarcity, where money is something hard to come by and even harder to keep. As people work hard to earn money, they may find that it's always going out just as quickly as it comes in. They pay for necessities like phone bills, car insurance, and rent, but their bank account never seems to show any significant growth. In these moments, the belief that money is inherently bad, or that those who have money must be doing something wrong, becomes ingrained. This mindset is often reinforced by the language used in the household. If others have more than enough, there's often an assumption that they must be doing something shady to get it. The idea that people with money are bad, or that money itself is inherently evil, can become a barrier to financial success. For some, this story can persist well into adulthood, even when they find themselves in situations where they have substantial success, like achieving millions of views on content or other accomplishments. If their money story hasn't shifted, they may still find themselves struggling financially. Despite achieving success in terms of recognition or visibility, they may feel as if making money is wrong, or that having a lot of it will make them a bad person. The internal conflict becomes, if I make money, I must be exploiting others or doing something harmful, while simultaneously wanting to live a successful, abundant life. This belief can be incredibly limiting because it places money and morality in opposition to one another. It creates a false narrative where the pursuit of wealth is synonymous with doing something wrong. The truth is, making money and being a good person are not mutually exclusive. In fact, money, when used positively, can serve as a tool for doing good in the world, for creating opportunities, and for helping others. So how can someone begin to rewrite this story, especially when they are overwhelmed by financial struggles? The first step is awareness, recognizing the story that has been built around money and how it has shaped your mindset. It's important to ask yourself, what do I truly believe about money? Is it a source of stress and guilt, or can it be a tool that serves my well-being and the well-being of others? Once you're aware of your money story, you can start to change it. Moving from a place of helplessness to one of helpfulness is key. Instead of feeling trapped by financial struggles, shift your focus to how you can serve others and create value. This mindset change is crucial. When you focus on helping others, you unlock new opportunities for abundance, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. This shift in thinking is necessary for rewiring your brain around money. When you're in a place of scarcity or lack, it's easy to become overwhelmed, stressed, or even burnt out. But focusing on the idea that money is an energy, something that flows in and out, can help release the grip that fear has over your financial decisions. By reframing your beliefs, you can start to see money as something positive, a resource that can help you live a life of freedom and abundance, rather than something that restricts you. As we continue, let's explore how to further rewire the brain to embrace abundance, even when things feel scarce. The key lies in transforming your relationship with money so that it no longer feels like an obstacle but a tool to create the life you desire. When someone finds themselves in a position of lack, feeling like there's never enough money, or struggling to earn more, it's essential to realize that their beliefs about money directly influence their actions. If a person believes that money is bad, or that people who have a lot of money are exploiting others, this belief will dictate how they behave. They might think that having less money makes them a better person, and that those who have more must be doing something wrong. This mindset traps them in scarcity, preventing them from seeing opportunities that could lead to not just financial wealth, but emotional wealth as well. What many don't realize is that this belief system keeps them from recognizing abundant opportunities. They become so focused on the idea that money is wrong that they fail to see the possibilities that could change their life, financially and emotionally. The key is to understand that beliefs shape behaviors. If someone believes that money is bad, it will always feel wrong to pursue it. Instead of embracing opportunities, they'll stay stuck in a cycle of just enough, never opening themselves up to wealth or the emotional freedom that money can bring. The struggle begins when people, even with accomplishments like a growing business or substantial success in other areas, can't seem to turn that success into financial abundance. Despite achieving recognition, such as millions of views on content, they may still struggle with the belief that making money is wrong. They feel conflicted, believing that pursuing money would somehow make them a bad person. This internal conflict keeps them from aligning financial success with their values, ultimately hindering growth and abundance. One of the most common blocks to creating wealth is the fear of generosity. Many people hold on to their time, knowledge, and energy, thinking that if they give it away, they'll be left with nothing. They fear that sharing their wisdom or ideas will allow others to take it and use it, leaving them without anything. This mindset of hoarding prevents growth and opportunity. Instead of sharing and contributing to others' success, they hold back, believing that their resources are finite. However, the most successful individuals, those who have built and sustained wealth, will tell you the same thing. Generosity is key. This mindset of generosity is not only crucial for financial abundance, but also for emotional fulfillment. It's about giving freely of your time, your knowledge, and your resources, and understanding that the more you give, the more you create a flow of energy that can lead to greater opportunities. If someone feels stuck, overwhelmed, or as though they have nothing to give, it may seem impossible to shift to an abundant mindset. However, even in times of scarcity, it is possible to change perspective. Many people have been in situations where they felt as though they had nothing, struggling with debt, uncertainty, and limited resources. But the key to shifting your financial reality starts with changing from a mindset of scarcity to one of generosity. Reflecting on past experiences is vital. For some, this change began in moments of hardship when they were facing debt, living with little to no financial stability, and wondering how they would ever get out. The breakthrough came when they shifted their mindset. Instead of focusing on their lack, they began to focus on how they could give, whether it was time, knowledge, or simply connecting with others. They started to learn from those who had gone through similar struggles and had emerged successful, and they embraced the mindset of abundance, which allowed them to grow financially and emotionally. The first habit to develop is a mindset of generosity and gratitude. This shift can happen by approaching the world with curiosity, joy, and openness. Instead of hoarding knowledge and resources, they began sharing and contributing. This allowed them to meet others who were willing to help, to mentor, and to open doors they hadn't even known existed. Even if someone feels like they don't have any skills or talents, they can begin by asking questions, learning from others, being open to new ideas, and embracing the belief that sharing and giving creates opportunities for everyone involved is the key. By adopting a mindset of abundance and generosity, they can begin to attract opportunities for growth, financially and emotionally. Many people feel like they don't have enough to offer. They believe that without wealth, fame, or resources, it's impossible to create value or build meaningful connections. The idea that they have nothing to offer can hold them back from pursuing their dreams or even starting on their journey to success. Yet, some of the most successful people in the world have found ways to turn their passion and energy into valuable currency, even when they started with nothing. Take, for example, the energy of passion, joy, excitement, and curiosity. These are powerful forces that, when shared with others, become a form of currency. While this energy might not initially appear to be money, for those who are burned out, exhausted, or no longer feel curious or excited about life, this energy is invaluable. Older generations, who may have spent decades working hard and sacrificing their passion, crave the vibrant energy that comes from youth, curiosity, and enthusiasm. When you bring this energy to the table, you offer something unique, a different mindset, a fresh perspective, the mindset of curiosity joy, and passion can be incredibly valuable. It's the ability to connect with others, ask questions, and truly listen that holds immense worth. And what's more, these skills, this energy, are often untapped, hidden within us. They may seem insignificant to others, but when nurtured, they can create magic, open doors, and create new opportunities. Another powerful way to create abundance is through generosity. Generosity doesn't always mean giving money. It can mean offering your time, your wisdom, your ideas, and helping others succeed. There's a common misconception that when people feel like they have nothing, they must hold on to what little they have. They might be reluctant to share, thinking that giving away their knowledge or resources will leave them with nothing. But the truth is, generosity opens up more opportunities than it takes away. There's a story about how, despite not having much, some people have managed to create value by being generous with their time and energy. For instance, a person might not have the resources to pay for a big platform, but finds creative ways to offer something of value. One such example is someone who didn't have the financial means, but partnered with others to offer a space to interview influential people. They didn't get paid for it initially, but the value they provided, connecting with others and offering them a platform, helped build relationships that would later bring greater opportunities. By being generous, they created a chance for exposure, connection, and learning. This not only allowed them to showcase their skills and talents, but also helped them build lasting relationships with people they admired. The key here is that they didn't wait until they had something substantial to offer. They created something from what they already had. Their generosity wasn't about material wealth. It was about sharing their energy, their time, and their curiosity with others. One of the powerful realizations here is that when people feel like they have nothing to offer, they often become focused on taking from others. They think that in order to succeed, they need to take what others have. But the most successful people don't approach life this way. They understand that by giving, whether it's energy, time, or knowledge, they can create opportunities, build relationships, and ultimately create wealth, both financially and emotionally. When someone finds themselves struggling financially, it's easy to fall into the belief that they have nothing to give. They may feel stuck, overwhelmed, anxious, and desperate for help. The idea that they have nothing to offer can make them feel isolated, unable to break free from their current financial situation. However, the first habit to cultivate in this journey toward abundance is one of gratitude and generosity. This mindset doesn't necessarily lead to instant financial gains, but it opens the door to a deeper form of richness, a richness that goes beyond money. Gratitude and generosity are powerful tools that can create abundance, not just financially, but emotionally and spiritually as well. The key here is that no matter how little someone may have, they can still offer their energy, time, and knowledge to others. It's about seeing opportunities to serve and help others, even in times of personal hardship. This generosity doesn't require wealth. It requires an open heart and a willingness to give, no matter the circumstances. Many people, when in a state of financial struggle, find themselves wanting to take from others, seeking help or expecting others to give them what they need. But the shift comes when they ask themselves, How can I help others? Even in a place of scarcity, the act of giving, whether it's a smile, a kind word, or a small gesture, can create positive energy. By focusing on generosity, even when resources are limited, the energy of abundance begins to flow. Gratitude, too, is essential. The more someone practices gratitude, the more they shift their mindset from lack to abundance. This doesn't mean that wealth will instantly manifest from these practices, but it does begin to change how someone feels about their life and their resources. It opens them up to opportunities they might not have noticed before. This approach is about shifting focus away from what's lacking and toward what can be created. By practicing gratitude for every bit of money that comes into your life, whether it's a small payment, a paycheck, or an unexpected source of income, you begin to change your relationship with money. A practice that has been helpful for many people is simply acknowledging and appreciating money as it enters their life. For example, when money comes in, whether it's a check, a payment through Venmo, or any other form, take a moment to say thank you. Whether it's a small amount or a large sum, express gratitude for it. This practice opens the heart and allows you to appreciate the flow of money, understanding that it's just a tool to help create more opportunities for yourself and others. It's about being mindful of the money you receive and where it goes, whether it's to savings, investments, paying off debt, or giving it away to help others. When you pay your bills, the same practice applies. Instead of feeling resentment or stress about paying bills, try saying thank you for allowing me to pay this bill. Thank you for enabling me to stay connected with my loved ones through my phone service. By approaching money with gratitude, you shift your focus to the positive aspects of financial transactions, turning them into opportunities for growth rather than sources of stress. This approach to money doesn't mean it will magically appear or that wealth will fall from the sky, but it does create a mindset of abundance, which opens the door to greater possibilities. The more you practice gratitude and generosity, the more you align yourself with the flow of abundance, not just financially, but in all aspects of your life. When we start to feel more abundant internally, that energy of richness and gratitude begins to attract more opportunities. This inner wealth isn't just about money. It's the type of energy that draws others in, opening doors to possibilities that may not have been available before. For example, the energy someone brings into a room, whether it's passion, joy, curiosity, or excitement, can create an abundance of opportunities and connections, just as it did for a hostess at a restaurant or a creative individual at a premiere. Take, for instance, the story of a young man at a premiere. While attending a special event for the Hulu show Deli Boys, an event host asked if he could film a quick shot. He quickly took a picture of two people, edited it on the spot, and turned it into an engaging reel of the event. The speed and skill with which he worked immediately caught the attention of two prominent individuals who were at the event. His ability to showcase his talent and passion in such a short amount of time created an instant opportunity. It wasn't about asking for payment or making a formal request. It was his energy and passion that spoke volumes, and it immediately opened doors to new connections and future opportunities. Similarly, at a simple restaurant, a hostess brought an incredible amount of energy and passion to her work. While taking orders, she was enthusiastic and knowledgeable, offering personalized recommendations that showcased her attention to detail. Her passion didn't go unnoticed. Within moments, several individuals at the table asked about her career goals, with some even offering job opportunities right then and there. It wasn't about her resume or her college background. It was her energy and presence that made her stand out and attracted potential opportunities. This is a common theme. Energy, passion, and curiosity have the power to create extraordinary opportunities. It's not always about what you have on paper, but about how you show up in the world and how you connect with those around you. When you bring passion and care into what you do, it's magnetic. It pulls people in and creates connections that can lead to long-term success. Even in seemingly small roles, like waitstaff, this energy plays a key part in success. Studies have shown that waiters and waitresses can significantly increase their tips simply by implementing a few small but impactful actions. Introducing yourself and connecting with customers by name, offering personalized recommendations, and complimenting their food choices can all increase the chance of receiving higher tips. These aren't technical skills. These are ways to build rapport, create connection, and bring positive energy to the interaction. It's about creating an experience that feels valuable to the other person. Money, after all, is an energy. How we think and feel about it dictates the energy we put into our work and the energy we receive in return. It's not just about the transaction, it's about the energy exchange. When you bring positive energy, curiosity, and a genuine desire to help others, that energy becomes contagious. It leads to opportunities, deeper connections, and yes, even financial success. When someone finds themselves in a difficult financial situation, feeling trapped, broke, stressed, or overwhelmed, it's easy to believe that they can't possibly create abundance. They might think, how can I bring energy or positivity into someone else's life when I feel like I have nothing to offer? The truth is, the most powerful way to shift from a state of scarcity to abundance is by changing from a mindset of helplessness to one of helpfulness. The key is to stop focusing on what you lack and start asking, how can I help? Even when you feel like you have nothing to give, offering your energy, your enthusiasm, your curiosity, and your time can lead to incredible opportunities. This shift in mindset doesn't require wealth. It requires a willingness to serve others and contribute. When you make this shift, you start building momentum, and over time, that energy will attract more abundance into your life. A great example of this comes from the energy someone brings into the room. Take the story of a young woman working as a hostess at a restaurant. She had an infectious energy, so much passion and enthusiasm for her job. When she recommended dishes to guests, she did so with such care and knowledge that she ended up receiving 3 job offers that very night. She didn't ask for anything in return. Her passion and energy created an abundance of opportunities. Had she approached the situation with a lackluster attitude, it's likely she wouldn't have had the same outcome. Her energy was what made the difference. This is the power of energy. It's not about having the best resume or the most prestigious background. It's about how you show up. And that energy doesn't just create financial opportunities. It creates connections, relationships, and a sense of fulfillment. When you approach life with joy, curiosity, and passion, you create a magnetic energy that attracts others to you. This principle can also be seen in the story of someone who, even when they were struggling, reached out to others and offered their skills. Whether or not it was what they ultimately wanted to do, In a moment of financial desperation, they sent emails to hundreds of people, offering to edit videos, run social media, or consult. While these weren't the tasks they dreamed of doing, they understood that they needed to create a foundation for themselves. The income they earned from these jobs was used to invest in their true passion, launching a podcast that would eventually become a success. By focusing on being helpful, even in the smallest ways, they were able to build momentum and create something greater. The biggest trap, however, comes when people start to make money, but still feel trapped by it. It's easy to fall into the belief that having money will solve all problems, or that it will bring happiness, social status, or the ability to buy the things that feel important. But true wealth isn't about material things. It's about feeling rich with what you already have: the relationships, the experiences, and the sense of fulfillment. If you want to truly create abundance, it's essential to start from a place of gratitude and generosity. This isn't always easy when things feel scarce, but practicing this mindset, even in small ways, will change how you relate to money. Instead of treating money like something you're desperate for, you'll begin to see it as a tool that can help you create more, both financially and emotionally. Money, like any energy, responds to how we treat it, and when we approach it with a mindset of generosity, we begin to unlock new possibilities. Many people feel like they're stuck in a cycle of scarcity, unable to create the financial abundance they desire. The key to shifting out of this mindset is recognizing that even if you feel like you have nothing, you still have something valuable to offer. Sometimes, it's about tapping into the skills and abilities that may not align with your long-term dreams, but still provide value in the short term. These skills can help build a foundation for future success, and they can also create financial freedom for you to pursue your passions later on. For example, there are times when people find themselves doing things that aren't their ultimate goal. They may not want to be working in a particular job or field forever, but they use that experience to gain skills, build relationships, and make money. This is what allows them to create the runway they need to eventually move toward what they truly want to do. The key is understanding that even if you're not doing what you love right now, the skills and resources you gain in this season can set you up for greater success in the future. The journey of creating abundance often requires a shift in mindset, particularly when it comes to believing that money can be manifested. Some people may be skeptical about this idea, thinking it's impossible or unrealistic. But when people open themselves up to the possibility of abundance, magic can happen. Manifestation doesn't mean money will suddenly fall from the sky. It means becoming open to seeing opportunities, synchronicities, and moments that bring abundance into your life, no matter how small they may seem. A powerful exercise for manifesting abundance is to give yourself permission to experiment with the idea of magic and synchronicity. By allowing yourself to believe that money can come to you freely and abundantly, you start to attract those very things into your life. This approach isn't about forcing outcomes or expecting miracles overnight. It's about shifting your energy to align with abundance. For example, one person who wanted to manifest abundance started each day by repeating, "Money comes to me abundantly and freely, and I see it everywhere. I am a magnet for money." This simple affirmation created a shift in energy. One day, while attending an event, he found a penny on the floor. At first, it seemed like a small, insignificant thing, but when he picked it up, they smiled and said, "Thank you." I receive. It was a moment of gratitude and recognition, and it was a small win that reinforced their new mindset of abundance. Later, when walking through the subway in New York City, he noticed another penny on the dirty, grimy floor. Despite the initial thought that it wasn't worth picking up, he reminded themselves of his commitment to the experiment. Money comes to me abundantly and freely, he repeated. He picked up the penny, acknowledged it, and said, "Thank you." It wasn't about the value of the penny. It was about the practice of seeing money as something abundant and freely available. This mindset shift opens people up to noticing opportunities they might have otherwise overlooked. Manifesting abundance isn't about expecting money to fall into your lap without effort. It's about aligning your energy with the flow of money, being open to opportunities, and practicing gratitude for even the small wins. When you approach life with this mindset, it becomes easier to attract what you need, both financially and emotionally. The key is to remain open, curious, and generous with your energy, knowing that the more you give, the more you create. After picking up the penny and setting the intention of abundance, he didn't expect anything extraordinary to happen. However, as he reflected on the small moments of gratitude, he began to see a pattern. The penny he had picked up was from 1945, a rare wheat penny. This small discovery sparked curiosity, leading him to research its value. What initially seemed insignificant turned out to have more value than expected. An example of how abundance, even in its smallest form, can lead to bigger rewards. This was a powerful reminder. It's not just about the physical manifestation of wealth or big windfalls. It's about the mindset of being open to possibilities, no matter how small they seem. By choosing to recognize and appreciate what's in front of him, no matter how little it may appear, he opened himself up to greater abundance. A simple act of gratitude for a penny became a symbol of the mindset shift from scarcity to abundance. The key takeaway here is that opportunities for growth and wealth don't always come in the form of large sums of money or grand gestures. Sometimes they're hidden in small moments that are easy to overlook. It's about being open to these moments and recognizing that abundance comes in many forms. In this case, the penny wasn't the manifestation of millions, but it was a sign, a reminder that opportunities are all around, and it's up to him to notice them. Once he adopted this mindset, the next step was taking action. This didn't mean waiting for opportunities to fall from the sky. It was about proactively seeking them out. When people set clear intentions, remain open to possibilities, and take steps to offer their skills or knowledge to others, they begin to create space for opportunities to flow into their lives. It's about asking, reaching out, and putting oneself out there, even if unsure or lacking confidence. This was the case for him, starting with nothing, reaching out to hundreds of people, offering his talents, skills, and services, even when he didn't have much to offer. This effort, fueled by an openness to opportunities and a mindset of generosity, led him to earn multiple six figures in his first year. His success wasn't due to having a perfect plan or a clear roadmap. It was the result of being willing to take action, set intentions, and stay open to what came his way. The ability to manifest millions is not about waiting for a miracle. It's about being intentional, generous, and open to the flow of opportunities. Setting clear intentions, offering value to others, and aligning your energy with your goals can significantly increase your chances of financial success. The key is to become a magnet for money and opportunities by embracing abundance and making decisions that align with that mindset. Manifestation, then, is not limited to material wealth. It's about adopting a holistic approach to life, being open to receiving in all forms, and creating value for others. It's a process that involves manifesting not just money, but relationships, growth, and opportunities that lead to a richer, more fulfilling life. The mindset of abundance can transform not only your financial circumstances, but also your overall approach to life, enriching your experiences in ways you never imagined possible. Money is not just a tool or a resource. It's something that many people have a deeply personal and sometimes complex relationship with. In some cultures, there is a belief that money is not just a material possession, but a symbol of a higher energy, like a goddess or a force that must be respected. In one tradition, the goddess of wealth, Lakshmi, is revered as a figure that brings prosperity and abundance. In this culture, it is considered disrespectful to simply walk past money, no matter how small. When someone finds a penny, it is not just picked up and kept. There's an act of reverence. The penny is often placed to the forehead, a gesture of respect towards Lakshmi, symbolizing gratitude for the wealth that is available and the respect for the energy it represents. This act of showing respect for money, even in its smallest form, highlights the importance of how one interacts with money. It's about treating it with the same respect and reverence that you would give to a respected guest. Imagine if money were a person walking into a room. How would you respond? Would you welcome it with gratitude, or would you turn away, ignoring its presence? In this mindset, money isn't just something to be acquired, it's something to be honored and nurtured. People who have a deep respect for money, who treat it with kindness, generosity, and appreciation, are more likely to create a positive and abundant relationship with it. The act of welcoming money into your life with open arms, being generous with it, and showing gratitude for it is a practice that aligns you with abundance. Think about your relationship with money. If money were a person, how would you treat it? Would you show it gratitude, or would you ignore it, act out of fear, or take it for granted? This exercise encourages reflection on how money shows up in your life and how you show up for it. Just like any other relationship, the more you nurture and respect it, the more it can grow and flourish. In some traditions, this respect goes beyond the material. For example, when Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, enters the room, it is common to greet her with a bow, not as a sign of submission, but as an act of deep respect. You would offer her what she desires, whether it's a seat, a drink, or simply gratitude. This act of hospitality, of welcoming money as you would a valued guest, invites abundance into your life. If you feel like you're struggling financially, it's also okay to be vulnerable and honest with money. Much like praying to a higher power, you can express your struggles, asking for help and guidance, admitting where you are, acknowledging your challenges, and seeking support can open the door to the abundance you're seeking. This vulnerability isn't weakness, it's an acknowledgement of where you are and a willingness to grow and move forward. By practicing this mindset of gratitude and respect towards money, you begin to shift your energy from scarcity to abundance. It's not about what you have right now, but how you relate to what you have. When you approach money with respect and openness, you invite more of it into your life in ways that go beyond the material. You cultivate a relationship with money that is healthy, prosperous, and full of possibility. Money often evokes strong emotions, and for many, their relationship with it can be complicated. Some view it as a necessary evil, while others see it as a tool to create freedom and opportunities. But what if money were treated like a person in your life? How would you show up for it? Imagine if money walked into a room, as if it were a guest at a party. How would you respond? Would you welcome it with respect and gratitude? Or would you turn away, ignore it, and only reach out to it when you needed something? A revealing example comes from a conversation with someone who admitted that if money were a person at a party, they would avoid eye contact, gossip behind its back, and only use it when they needed something, eventually ghosting it when it was no longer useful. While this may sound extreme, the honesty in this admission sheds light on a deeper truth. How people treat money often reflects their beliefs and fears about it. When people treat money this way, avoiding it when it's not needed, taking advantage of it when it is, does money want to keep showing up in their lives? Would a person continue to stay in a relationship where they were treated like this? Probably not. Similarly, if money were treated like a person, it would seek a relationship where it was welcomed with respect, care, and gratitude. Creating a richer, more abundant life isn't just about amassing wealth. It's about cultivating a healthy relationship with money. Think of money like a partner that you care about. You don't have to worship it, but you do have to treat it with kindness, generosity, and respect. Show up for it as you would for someone you love. Be present, patient, generous, and willing to give. It doesn't mean things will always be perfect, but it's about making the effort to connect with money in a way that feels healthy and respectful. When you approach money with this mindset, it becomes easier to heal the relationship with it. Too many people fear that making more money will bring more stress, or they believe the myth that more money equals more problems. This fear comes from seeing others who have wealth, but seem unhappy or unkind with their money. They hoard it, refuse to share, and live in a constant state of fear. This is a wound that many people experience with money. It's not about the money itself, but about how it's handled. To heal this relationship, it's essential to expand both your capacity to receive and your ability to give. The more you are able to relax and let go of your fears around money, the more freely it can flow to you. Generosity is a key part of this process. When you give without expecting anything in return, you create a sense of abundance that not only helps others, but enriches your own life. Giving, when it's done with a full heart, allows you to receive more in return, creating a cycle of abundance that feels natural and fulfilling. This mindset shift isn't always easy. In the early years of making money, many people hoard their wealth out of fear of losing it. This fear keeps them in a scarcity mindset. Even when they have financial security, they're afraid to give, to spend, or to enjoy their money because they're still holding on to the fear of going broke again. This creates stress, and it limits the flow of abundance in their lives. A wise teaching from a monastery says, God doesn't see what you give, God sees what you hold back. This is a reminder that true generosity comes from a place of openness and willingness to give, even when it's challenging. It's not about the size of the gift, it's about the intention behind it. The act of giving from a place of abundance even when it feels difficult, is what leads to healing. It's about giving freely without holding back. And in doing so, you allow more abundance to flow into your life. Ultimately, the relationship with money is a reflection of how we relate to abundance, generosity, and fear. Healing this relationship allows you to experience greater peace and fulfillment, not just financially, but in every area of life. The idea of generosity doesn't always have to be tied to money. It's easy to think that being rich means having a lot of wealth, but true abundance comes from living a rich life in the ways that matter most, through time, care, and service to others. Many people may have grown up with little, but they were rich in other ways: in love, in the willingness to share, and in the value they placed on simple things. This mindset of generosity doesn't require a financial transaction. It's about creating value and offering what you have, whether it's your time, your attention, or your energy. Consider the example of someone's parents who would open their home to strangers without hesitation. When someone needed a place to stay, they simply said, "Yes, we'll make it work." They gave not out of abundance of money, but out of abundance of heart. They didn't need to give money to feel rich. They gave in other ways. And it was those acts of generosity that created a richness of life. The key to feeling abundant and free is not in amassing material wealth, but in creating a mindset of generosity. When you approach life with this mindset, you attract the opportunities to make more money, but you also keep the freedom that comes from being rich in spirit. This shift in mindset is crucial because too many people fall into the trap of thinking that wealth is synonymous with owning more stuff. The danger comes when people start making money, but still feel trapped, anxious, or overwhelmed. The moment money is acquired, the same feelings of scarcity can persist if the relationship with money isn't healthy. Money may come, but the fear of losing it, or the pressure to save every penny, can turn it into another source of stress. Balancing spending and saving is a challenge many people face. There's a natural desire to enjoy the fruits of hard work and the ability to splurge on things you want, whether that's a vacation, a new car, or a fancy dinner. But it's important to approach these decisions thoughtfully, understanding the consequences of spending money that you don't have. If you use credit to enjoy a momentary indulgence, you'll face the consequences of paying off that debt later, often with interest. The key is to balance enjoyment with responsibility, spending within your means while investing for the future. One of the most important lessons is learning to live beneath your means. If you can live comfortably within your means without the constant need for more possessions, you've already won. True wealth isn't about accumulating the latest gadgets or going on extravagant trips. It's about being content with what you have, finding joy in the simple things, and appreciating life for what it is right now. That's the foundation of true abundance. The temptation to make money quickly, chasing after that hack that will bring instant riches, is a mindset that many people struggle with. The desire for fast wealth, like making $1 million in a week, can be overwhelming. The idea of finding the shortcut to wealth is tantalizing, but it often leads to disappointment. Most people who make their fortunes don't do so through a quick fix. They build wealth over time, through hard work, strategic decisions, and a lot of patience. That's not to say it's wrong to aim for financial success or to want more from life. If you dream of having nice things or experiencing luxuries, that's perfectly valid. But understanding that money, like anything else, takes time to build and requires a long-term mindset is key. Building wealth doesn't have to be difficult, but it does require effort, consistency, and patience. True wealth is about creating a life that is rich in experiences, relationships, and purpose. It's not about waiting for the next big windfall, but about creating a solid foundation for long-term success. Once you've cultivated the right mindset of generosity, gratitude, and patience, money will begin to flow more easily, but not because it's easy money. It will flow because you've created a mindset and a life that attract it. The desire to make money quickly is something many people can relate to. The idea of finding a shortcut or a hack that leads to instant wealth is tempting. Many individuals fall into the trap of thinking that there's a fast, easy way to make money, whether it's through the latest cryptocurrency craze, an underrated investment, or a business opportunity that promises quick returns. The allure of fast money is especially strong when people see others claiming to have made millions in a short period. But the truth is, the path to sustainable wealth is rarely that simple. Sure, there are outliers, people who hit the jackpot with a lucky investment or a successful business venture. But for most, the pursuit of quick money ends in painful lessons. The money might come in fast, but it leaves just as quickly, and what remains are the scars of risk, loss, and regret. Even those who have successfully generated wealth over time understand that it's not about finding the next quick fix or shortcut. It's about long-term growth, patience, and investing in the right opportunities with a solid foundation. One common mistake is seeking quick returns without understanding the deeper work required. For instance, a person once recalls being encouraged by a mentor to invest in cryptocurrency back in 2013. At the time, they were skeptical, unsure of its potential. They only had $1,000 saved, and investing that amount in something so volatile seemed like a gamble. Looking back, they now realize that even if they had invested, it wouldn't have been a quick payoff. It would have taken years for that investment to yield any real returns. But the key takeaway is that they weren't ready for a long-term investment, and they weren't willing to wait. This impatience often leads people down the path of disappointment and regret. The reality is that true wealth is built over time. It doesn't come from making quick, risky investments. It comes from developing skills, offering value, and being patient as your wealth grows. For example, someone who has spent decades honing their skills and adding value to the world can now make what might seem like easy money today. But this easy money didn't come without a significant amount of effort, spiritual growth, and dedication over the past 2 decades. They spent years working on themselves, developing their talents, and serving others selflessly. Only after investing this time and energy did the financial rewards begin to flow more freely. The story of someone who spent years living without money as a monk highlights this point perfectly. During that time, they may have had no money in their bank account, but they lived a life full of richness in every other way. They had nature, community, purpose, and the ability to serve. They felt rich, not because they had material wealth, but because their life was abundant in love, purpose, and the experiences they valued. The wealth they experienced wasn't limited to their financial situation. It was a reflection of their mindset and the way they lived. This lesson can apply to anyone who feels like they have nothing right now. Even if you have no money in your bank account, you can still cultivate a rich life. By focusing on generosity, offering your time, energy, and resources to others, and continuously working on improving yourself, you can create an abundant life. This is the foundation of true wealth, not just financial, but emotional and spiritual as well. So, how can you start to make money feel effortless and create true abundance? It starts by expanding your capacity to receive. If you've been living with a scarcity mindset, it's important to shift that to one of abundance. Start by working on your inner wealth, developing your skills, practicing gratitude, and building meaningful relationships. Over time, as you expand your nervous system to handle greater abundance, money will flow more easily, and you'll be able to give more generously without fear of losing it. True wealth comes when you are at peace with money. It's not about the constant chase for more, but about feeling rich and abundant with what you have now. When you adopt this mindset, you're not just building financial wealth, you're building a richer, fuller life in every sense of the word. It's a common desire to seek a quick path to wealth. Many people dream of finding an investment opportunity that will bring instant returns. The allure of fast money is strong, especially when promises of quick profits are so tempting. But here's the truth. The faster you win, the faster you lose. The pursuit of instant wealth is often a trap that leads to disappointment. The reason for this is simple. Without understanding the investment or industry you're putting money into, the chances of losing it are high. The key here is awareness. It's not enough to just put your money into something that sounds promising without knowing why you're doing it. Whether it's cryptocurrency or real estate, if you don't understand it, you're essentially gambling. This is why it's essential to respect the industries and investments you engage with. If you don't respect what you're doing, it's unlikely to grow or yield long-term success. Investing in what you know is the wisest choice. If you don't have expertise in a particular area, don't invest there. Instead, focus on areas where you have experience or knowledge. A lot of people make the mistake of jumping into something because it seems like a quick win, only to find that they don't have the foundation or knowledge to make informed decisions. This lack of understanding often leads to losing money. True wealth doesn't come from guessing or gambling. It comes from making informed, respectful decisions in areas you truly understand. When it comes to investing, the best place to start is with yourself. Whether you have a small amount of money, say $100 or $1,000, put it in what you know best, yourself. Investing in your skills, expanding your knowledge, and developing confidence can create a wealth that no quick investment can. The real currency lies in the skills you develop, the confidence you build, and the courage to take risks, even when you don't have all the answers. This investment will serve you not just in the short term, but for the rest of your life. Developing courage is a crucial first step. It's about having the bravery to learn new skills, whether that's public speaking, writing, or any other area that interests you. Many people are afraid of failure, but it's that courage to take action, even when you're unsure, that eventually leads to confidence. And once you have confidence, You'll feel more capable of going after bigger opportunities, charging more for your services, and putting yourself out there in new ways. The lesson is clear. Invest in yourself. It's not about the amount of money you have. It's about the skills, knowledge, and mindset you build along the way. People who have focused on growing themselves, their abilities, and their confidence often find that opportunities for financial success follow naturally. This isn't about finding a shortcut to wealth. It's about creating a foundation that will allow wealth to come, not just financially, but in all areas of life. True wealth is not just about money. It's about cultivating a life that feels rich in every way through meaningful relationships, personal growth, and the ability to serve and give. Financial abundance is a result of a life lived with intention, generosity, and a commitment to learning and growing. By investing in yourself, you not only create financial opportunities, but you also create a richer, fuller life experience. The notion of wealth often revolves around the idea of making money quickly and easily. Many people are on a constant search for the next big thing, an investment, a business idea, or a quick fix strategy that promises rapid financial rewards. However, the reality is that money doesn't always come quickly, and when it does, it can slip away just as fast. The problem with seeking out these fast money-making methods is that they often lead to losses, as people invest without a deep understanding of what they're getting into. This happens because the essence of building wealth is not about speed, but about awareness and respect. When you don't fully understand the investment or the opportunity, you're disrespecting it. It's the same as if you were to enter a new industry without doing your research. You're essentially gambling with your resources. To avoid this trap, it's important to ask, what do you really know? Invest in what you understand. When you understand something deeply, whether it's a business, an investment, or even your own skills, you are in a much better position to succeed. This lesson is clear. If you have a small amount of money, say $100 or $1,000, invest it in what you know. Start by investing in yourself, in your skills, your knowledge, and your growth. This investment may not yield immediate returns, but over time, it will serve as the foundation for future wealth. Confidence, belief, and knowledge are currencies that will stay with you for a lifetime. They'll empower you to make informed decisions and confidently take on new opportunities. Building confidence through learning and development is crucial. When someone started their journey, they didn't have all the skills they needed, but they had the courage to learn. They took public speaking classes, hired a writing coach, and dedicated their energy to building the skills that would later fuel their success. Over time, that courage built confidence, and that confidence led to a new mindset. This mindset of believing in yourself is the key to success. Whether you're pursuing personal growth or financial prosperity, this is where the power of generosity comes into play. As you develop your skills and grow your confidence, it's essential to also develop the habit of giving. The most successful people, whether billionaires or millionaires, understand the power of generosity. They know that the more they give, whether to their communities, employees, or charities, the more they receive in return. It's not about the amount they give, but the act of giving itself that unlocks abundance. Generosity, especially when it feels uncomfortable, is often what sets successful people apart. The more they give, the more they attract opportunities. It's about cultivating a mindset of abundance, where giving leads to receiving, and the cycle continues. This mindset isn't just about financial giving. It's about offering your time, energy, and expertise to others. And in doing so, you create a life that is both rich in experiences and in material wealth. People who are focused on making quick money often forget that true wealth comes from a balanced life. Money may come and go, but what really matters is your ability to enjoy life, give generously, and live with a sense of purpose. When you focus on giving and sharing your gifts with others, the opportunities for financial abundance will follow. So whether you have little money to invest right now, or you're looking to grow what you already have, start by investing in yourself. Focus on learning, growing, and developing new skills. Be generous with your time and energy. This approach will lead to long-term success, both financially and personally. Wealth is not just about what's in your bank account. It's about the richness of your life and the ability to contribute to the world around you. When it comes to wealth, many people assume it's about accumulating money as quickly as possible. The pressure to make money fast, often through get-rich-quick schemes, is widespread. But the truth is, this mindset typically leads to disappointment. Wealth isn't created by rushing to the finish line. It's built slowly, through consistent actions, and with a mindset that focuses not on speed, but on creating value. The speed at which you make money often mirrors the speed at which you lose it, especially when you're not truly connected to your purpose or the value you're providing. The journey to financial success is a marathon, not a sprint. The key to long-term prosperity lies in understanding what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how it fits into a larger plan. If you're jumping from opportunity to opportunity in hopes of a quick win, you may find yourself constantly chasing something elusive. The real secret, however, is aligning your actions with your values and learning to give, even when you feel you have little to give. Generosity is an essential part of this process. It's not about how much you give, but how you give. The act of being generous opens up an abundance of energy that flows not just to others, but also back to you. When you give from a place of gratitude and abundance, you start to create an energetic cycle that attracts opportunities, connections, and success. This isn't just about giving money. It's about offering your time, your talents, and your attention to others. By doing so, you contribute to a greater collective energy that eventually brings more opportunities into your life. Many of us have heard the phrase, "You get what you give," but it's more than just a saying. It's a truth that has been proven over and over again in the lives of those who have sustained their wealth over time. Billionaires and successful entrepreneurs often say that giving is the key to their continued financial growth. Whether it's supporting charities, investing in their communities, or helping employees and loved ones, these individuals understand that the more they give, the more they receive. When you give generously, you create a space for abundance to flow freely into your life. This is why even when people start with little, they can still give generously. It's not about the amount you give, but about your intention. The mindset of abundance is what allows you to give without hesitation. And in doing so, you attract more of what you need. But generosity is not just about giving to others. It's also about giving to yourself. Self-investment is one of the most powerful forms of generosity. When you take the time and resources to develop your skills, learn new things, and take care of your mental and emotional health, you are giving yourself the foundation for future success. This investment in yourself creates long-term benefits that can lead to greater wealth, not just in terms of money, but in terms of personal growth and fulfillment. When you're able to approach your life and your finances with this mindset, one that prioritizes generosity, self-care, and gratitude, you begin to feel more abundant, regardless of how much money is in your bank account. True wealth is about feeling rich in all areas of your life: relationships, experiences, personal growth, and yes, financial success. When you give generously and live with an open heart, you invite more abundance into your life, and the flow of wealth becomes a natural consequence. So if you're looking to create long-term wealth, start by cultivating generosity in all its forms. Give your time, your skills, and your resources. Offer your energy freely, and do so with gratitude. As you do, you'll find that opportunities begin to unfold in ways you couldn't have imagined. You'll also begin to see that true wealth is not about how much you have, but about the richness of your life experience and the positive impact you can make on others.